Right. Hello, and welcome to the Protein What's What meetup. My name is Grace, and I'm a health fitness professional here at the Place for Wellness. Thank you for tuning in to hear all about protein. I do want to point out that this information is not to be used or interpreted as any type of medical advice. It is only for educational purposes. To start off, let's test your knowledge. So, true or false, eating protein makes you lean? Think about it for a second. The answer is false. So, eating protein alone does not make you lean. If you go for a high protein diet and it leads to weight loss, it's usually because you're just eating fewer calories. Protein is usually more filling, which will make you eat less calories, which then will make you more lean, but it alone doesn't make you lean. Strength training in tandem with a healthy diet can help you build that lean muscle, though. All right, so we are gonna focus on just protein today, but keep in mind that there are these three macronutrients: carbohydrates, fats, and protein. All three of these together help fuel the body um, throughout life, so they're all super important, but today we're just gonna be focusing on protein. So, why are we talking about protein? Protein has so many important functions for the body. Here are a few examples. So, it's part of every cell in the body. It is necessary for growth and development. It supports building and repairing of cells and tissues. It plays an important role in many body processes, such as hormone and enzyme production, immunity, blood clotting, and fluid balance. Protein-rich foods supply important vitamins and minerals. A few examples are B vitamins, copper, iron, phosphorus, and zinc. Also, with growth and development, protein's super important with pregnancy, adolescence, and just in childhood, but it's super important throughout all stages of life. Let's test your knowledge again. True or false? Protein only comes from animal sources. The answer is false. Protein comes from both plant and animal sources. On the next slide here, we'll really dive into those nutrient-rich protein sources. A few examples are beans and peas, eggs, fish and shellfish, lean meats, low-fat milk, cheese, and yogurt, nuts, nut butters, and seeds, skinless poultry, and grains such as quinoa. Now, this is a good variety of plant-based sources as well as animal-based proteins. So you can really get a good plant-based diet, but it really has to be a variety of plant-based sources. It's really important to focus on getting all 20 amino acids. And in order to do that, you really need a variety of plant-based sources to make sure you're fulfilling your body's needs. Also, keep in mind for vegans who don't eat any animal products, it's really important to find a reliable source of B12 vitamins as well. So, how much protein do we need in a day? So this varies from person to person depending on your calorie needs. We can give a rough estimate here for healthy recommended men and women from the MyPlate recommendations. So for women, you need about 5 to 6.5 ounces of protein daily, and men need just a little bit more, between 5.5 to 7 ounces of protein daily. A cool fun fact here is that one serving of lean protein is about the size and thickness of a deck of cards. That's a great way to just kind of know how many ounces you're going for without officially measuring it. All right, so meeting your protein needs. Don't forget to balance your protein with other nutrients. In this example here, protein needed for the average healthy adult has been met before dinner, which is a great way to make sure you're meeting all of your protein needs throughout the day. This is an example of breakfast, lunch, and a snack. This total comes to about 6 to 7 ounces before even having dinner, which is great. So a lot of people do center their meals around protein, but it's super important to get that variety of nutrients that you're really fueling your body in the best balanced way possible. We want your plate to be filled with about a quarter with proteins, half with fruits and vegetables, and the other remaining quarter with grains. If you want more details on this, check out the My Plate guidelines, and it'll give a lot more detail on exactly what that looks like. Now, there are certain situations that can affect your protein needs. A few examples are on right here. Of course, if you have any specific questions of your unique situation, make sure you talk with a registered dietitian or nutritionist. So, for elite athletes, sometimes they need more protein just depending on what their exercise looks like or what their training schedule looks like. Also, people with kidney disease, this may change their protein need of either higher or lower depending on what their treatment course is. Also, for older adults who may not get enough protein, they may need to increase their protein daily to make up for poor appetite or difficulty preparing meals. For people who are vegetarian or vegan, they can fully meet their protein needs without animal or plant products, but like I mentioned before, you really need to get that variety of plant-based sources to make sure you're getting all of those 20 amino acids. Right. Also, for severe wounds and burns, protein may need to increase to support that healing process. All right. So, next we have 10 tips for nutritious protein choices. So, choosing lean cuts of meat, such as loin or round, trimming off that visible fat from meats and removing the skin from poultry, limiting processed meats, enjoying fish and seafood twice a week. Try out those dairy options that are low fat as well as grains such as quinoa. Trying out meatless meals like beans, lentils, or soy products. A lot of the time you can switch out those meatless products for the meat ones in the recipes, and it's a great way to get that variety. You can choose those healthy cooking options such as braising, roasting, or grilling, and really avoiding those high calorie dense breading and frying, as well as usually those are high sodium as well. Just also keep an eye on your nut and seed proportions. Although they are super nutritious and high in protein, they also can be really high in calories. All right, with all this information, what can you do next? I have a few ideas for just small steps that you can do to add to your protein. So enjoy a plant-based protein for a snack, opt for protein-rich meatless meals, try eating protein in a small balanced meal throughout the day, and also try out a new protein. Now, for more information, visit this website here, like I mentioned before, for My Plate guidelines. Keep in mind that this is just a few ideas for what you can do next. There's so many options to get that protein in your diet, just making sure you're really having that variety of nutrient dense options. So that is all that I have on protein today. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye bye.